I don't know why this didn't happen sooner, but USC has finally canned Clay Helton after the Trojans' embarrassing loss against Stanford 52-28 at home, which was probably more than enough for him to say enough is enough. At least he didn't get fired in an airport like my guy Lane Kiffin did, but I think the decision was about 2 years too late. Now the decision USC has to make is who will lead their program and who can handle the pressure that comes with a job like USC. Some of the coaches that have been rumored so far include Dan Mullen, James Franklin, and Cincy's head coach Luke Fickell. I know I'm late, but in today's video we'll talk about Clay Helton's firing from USC, why he was such a lackluster coach to begin with, and who should be his replacement to revive this storied program off life support. I really appreciate the support I've been getting, guys. We're currently on the road to 1,000 followers. Please help your boy get monetized so we can improve the channel, so I can keep giving y'all great and even better content. I will be doing some more NFL videos. I've just been swamped at work, so bear with me, NFL fans. And also don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have any suggestions on who or what I should cover next, leave it down below in the comment section. But now that we have taken care of business, let's talk about Clay Helton. So before we talk about Clay Helton's firing and who should replace him, we first gotta get a little bit of a backstory on Clay's history. Clay Helton was born and bred to be a football coach from the time he was born. Helton was born in Gainesville, Florida, where his father, Kim Helton, yes, that was his father's first name, Kim, was a GA for the Florida Gators football team and had Clay exposed to a bunch of different programs across the country early in his life. Clay lived in a bunch of different cities, including Miami, Tampa, and eventually Houston, which is where the family ended up settling down at. Helton played quarterback when he was in high school and was a very good quarterback, and was so good in fact that he earned a spot on Auburn's roster. And after he played on the team for a few years, things didn't really seem to work out there, earning very little playing time, and he ended up transferring to Houston where his father was the head coach at, but he still ended up serving as a backup for the duration of his career there. After he graduated with a bachelor's degree from Houston in 1994, instead of pursuing a career in mathematics or science, which he had his degree in, Helton naturally gravitated towards coaching and enrolled at Duke as a GA for the football team. After 1 year, he was promoted to be the quarterback's coach, and that's kind of where his career took off from there. After his time at Duke, Helton joined his father at Houston to be the running backs coach until 1999, where his father's last season as head coach. And after Helton's dad was fired, he made his way to Memphis, which is really where he started to make his name in the college coaching world. Helton joined Rip Shearer's staff at Memphis, where he was the running backs coach. Helton stayed on the staff under new coach Tommy West, who replaced Shearer in 2001, and moved to coaching the wide receivers group in 2003. By 2007, Helton was promoted to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Players Helton coached during his time at Memphis include former Panthers running back D'Angelo Williams, who was a first-round NFL draft pick in 2005, and 2006 Conference USA All-Freshman pick Duke Calhoun. After his success at Memphis, Helton was hired to be the quarterbacks coach under then SC head coach Lane Kiffin, and this is where his tenure at SC would begin and last for over a decade. While he was there, the man who hired him got famously fired on the tarmac at LAX airport, and SC had a few head coaches after Lane, first starting off with Ed Orgeron, who actually turned the season around for the Trojans, but resigned after their AD chose to hire Steve Sarkisian instead of him, which I will talk about later. Sark led him to a 9-4 record his first year, and finished 20th in the AP poll behind Cody Kessler. And they ended up winning their bowl game against Nebraska in the Holiday Bowl. So this was a pretty good season for SC, considering the fact that Lane Kiffin had, very mediocre seasons during his tenure there. Next year, however, there would be even more trouble for the Trojans. Sark had an infamous video of him showing up to a pep rally, clearly intoxicated, and was seen cursing in front of fans, alumni, and the student body. After this, and also appearing to be intoxicated at a practice, he decided to take a leave of absence, but that later turned into him being permanently let go by the university. And on October 11, 2015, Helton became the interim head coach, and then after the end of the season, he officially became the head coach for the Trojans. And after Helton was named the permanent head coach, SC lost their final 2 games of the 2015 season to Stanford in the Pac-12 championship game and Wisconsin in the Holiday Bowl. In Helton's first full season as head coach, USC started off 1-3 with losses to Alabama, Stanford, and Utah. but then was able to turn it around, winning their final 8 games of the 2016 regular season, as well as winning that classic Rose Bowl game against Penn State that saw Sam Darnold just catapult into being an NFL prospect, and also into Colin Cowherd's mouth. They ended the season with a record of 10-3 and finished third in the final AP poll of the year. Helton was able to follow up the Rose Bowl win with another great year, going 11-2 and winning the Pac-12 title behind Sam Darnold in his final season at SC. The Trojans played in the Cotton Bowl but were easily handled by a good Ohio State team that year, so really can't blame them there. So you would think, man, what happened between those 2 seasons and now that USC has fallen off so hard? After Sam Darnold left early for the NFL draft, this is the moment when SC really just took a complete nosedive. After Sam left, most thought the Trojans had a great replacement for Darnold with the emergence of incoming 5-star modern-day quarterback JT Daniels, slated to be the starter in his freshman year. But despite Daniels being one of the most sought-after recruits in the country, he really had an up-and-down season, completing less than 60% of his passes, and had a 14-10 touchdown-to-interception ratio. And as a result, the Trojans went 5-7 and missed out on a bowl game for the first time since 2011. And as a fan of the Trojans, you would think, okay, this would definitely put Helton in the hot seat, put him into consideration for being fired. But the AD at the time, Lynn Swann, decided to keep Helton, and boy, that proved to be a wrong decision. Coming into the 2019 season, Helton was on the hot seat clearly and needed to have a good season. This would quickly turn sour again, as in the first game against Fresno State, JT Daniels tore his ACL, causing him to miss the rest of the season, thus putting freshman quarterback Caden Slovis into the starting spot, and he honestly looked pretty good. USC went 8-5 that year, but got blown out again in their bowl game, this time again in the Holiday Bowl against Iowa. If Helton wasn't on a hot seat that season, he definitely was coming into the 2020 season. But luckily for him, but unluckily for the American public, the COVID-19 pandemic happened and really caused a weird 2020 season for all college football teams involved, but especially for USC, where the whole state of California was completely shut down, and the Pac-12 decided against having the season until mid-September, early October. The 2020 season was a weird one, so I'll give Helton the benefit of the doubt on that season, but coming into the 2021 season, Helton was in a must-win mode, because at a program like USC, not being in a national spotlight, whether that means playing in the Rose Bowl or, vying for a shot in the college football playoff, he would have to start off really hot and prove to AD Mike Bond that he's the guy for this program. Well, as you guys know, after an embarrassing loss to Stanford on national television, he was canned. Personally, in my opinion, Helton didn't really have that charisma that is usually needed at a big-time program like USC. Pete Carroll was a rock star for the program. He had that swagger and that presence that recruits and fans really just resonated with and fell in love with. When he walked in a room, you knew about it. When he spoke, you knew about it. But the blame really should be on Pat Hayden, who decided to elevate Clay Helton from being an interim head coach to being a permanent head coach late in the 2015 season. He didn't realize how significant it was that the Trojans were hiring the opposite of a rock star. If he was smart, he would have hired Eddie O, who, like Carroll, has a crazy, funny, and opposing personalities that players can really just get behind. Now for who should replace him, they have to go with a big name coach here. I don't think they can go really any other way. Now for who should replace him, they kind of have to go with a rock star coach, even though there aren't really that many in the college ranks to begin with. I mean, the clear obvious choice for me would be James Franklin, but who knows if he would leave Penn State for that kind of pressure that the USC job would entail, and also just his personality and just the fact that he loves being at Penn State. I don't really see him leaving for that type of job. I think the dark horse candidate is Urban Meyer. I'm working on a video for it because his time in Jacksonville will be a short one, I guarantee you that. Especially after saying coaching in the NFL is like playing Alabama every week. Well, dude, this isn't the Big Ten where you have Rutgers and Maryland on your schedule, but I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped ship from Jacksonville to take this SC job. But outside of James Franklin, I think Cincinnati's head coach Luke Fickell would be a great hire just based on what he did for the Bearcats program. If I was a betting man, I think SC will go with a big name because in a city like LA, no one cares about anything other than winning. You're competing with the likes of the Rams, the Lakers, the sunshine, the beaches, and just the plethora of things to do in the city of LA. Another candidate I can see competing for the SC job is the head coach from Boston College, Jeff Hafsley. I think he's doing a really great job with the Boston College program this year, but I think it may be too soon for him to jump the ship. I think he has that personality that SC alums and fans would absolutely love. We just gotta wait until the season's over to finally see a candidate emerge out of, all the names that were rumored. Again, guys, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate the support. Sorry for the delay in the content again. Just trying to get used to this new job and adjusting my schedule, but trust me, I will have a lot more content for you guys in the future. We're on the road for 1K subscribers, so any and all support is appreciated. And if you have any suggestions on what or who I should cover next, leave it down in the comment section. And make sure you follow your boy on Twitter. I'm trying to get my followers up, so anyone that follows, I appreciate it. And until next time, guys, peace.